Hello, and welcome to Reading the Bible Daily in 2025, where we are reading the Day by Day Kids Bible. Today is January 4th, 2025, and I'm Robin within the Family Way Coaching. For those of you keeping track with your daily calendar, I have put my sticker down for today. And if you would also like a copy of the calendar, I have it available for download free on my site, and I will have a link there for you to download it. I will put the link in the description section of the video. And if you would like to support the event, then I will also send you a set of stickers for the month, along with a printed copy of the calendar that I print out on sugarcane fiber, which gives the paper that lovely tan beige color. It's made out of sugar canes. No trees are involved. So thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this and a little bit about our lesson that is coming from Genesis today. Today, we will be reading about Abram and his family, and we will start that section of the Bible. One of the things that God has really impressed upon me is that the people in the Bible are not just people. They're not. They are just people, but they're not just people we read about, and they're not just part of history, and that's that. We are all people, and we are just like them, and they are just like us. Even though they were thousands of years ago, we are all still people, and we all share the same struggles. And one of the things in my walk with God that I was uh, really kind of struggling with for a while was I felt like I was missing something. I believe in the Bible. I believe that Jesus is my Savior. And I knew that everything I was reading was true, but I just felt like there was still something more that I was missing in my reading and studying of the Bible. I attended Bible studies for years, and I loved studying the Bible. I still do. I love studying the Bible. But I still just felt like that U2 song. I still hadn't found what I was looking for. And I knew I had a purpose, and I believed that, and I was looking for my purpose. So I could not seem to figure out what it was that I was missing. And in my walk, in my studies. And what God showed me is that uh, we are meant to see ourselves in the people that we read about in the Bible because we are just like them. We share the same struggles. So when we read about the things that the people have done in the Bible and the way that they handled situations, they are very much like the situations that we actually have in today's society. It doesn't matter that it's separated by thousands of years apart. And every day, God brings me situations where we learn from them. And we are meant to deepen our faith in Him every day by trusting that everything that He brings us, He will work to good. Now, I knew that in teaching, and I could repeat that, and I knew that I believed it. But it's a little bit different to live your life with that faith. And that's where I was doing that, but I hadn't really made that complete connection. So, what I want to bring in these readings is that connection and that awareness, because we can know something without being fully aware of it. We have to experience something in order to really understand. So, while we can read about and know the lessons in the Bible, it's not until we actually identify with ourselves as having shared that experience that we finally get that aha. And then we say, now I get it. So that's what I want to bring to you with reading the Bible daily this year, is that I want to bring that aha, where you recognize yourself. And it's when we recognize ourselves in the people in the Bible and when we recognize ourselves in other people around us that we learn to understand where people are coming from, why they are doing the things that they're doing, and how we can get through these situations. Is that we look at the example of how people in the Bible did or did not handle things in the way that they could have or the way that they did. And we say, that's the way I'm going to do it. And so we're going to be looking at the story of Abram and his wife Sarai today in Genesis. And so I want to encourage you to keep your ears open for a situation in which Abram both trusted God but didn't act on his faith in trusting God. And that's that subtle difference that I'm looking at bringing with this reading the Bible every day, is that we can say, yes, yes, I trust God. I believe in God and I trust him. I know he's very trustworthy and honest, and I know that I can put my trust in him. But it's when we have those individual situations in our daily life where we have the opportunity to act on that faith, that's where our walk is a day by day walk. And that's where every single little thing that happens in our life, it can become an opportunity to deepen our faith in God by acting on it, not just saying it or knowing it in our head. And so with that, let's begin with Genesis in in his family. The title of this section at the top of the book, if you're following along, is called Abraham and his family. But in this part, we are just being introduced to Abram, and God has not yet changed his name to Abraham. That's a little bit of a story spoiler, if you're not already aware of that. So here we are at January 4th, and the name of this section is Abram's Travels Begin, and this takes us through the chapters of Genesis 12 and 13. God talked to a man named Abram. God said, "Leave this land. Leave these people. Leave your father's family. I will show you a new land to live in. I'm going to give you a family. Your family will become a great nation. Your name will become great. I'll do good things for anyone who speaks well of you. I'll send trouble to anyone who says bad things about you. Good will come to everyone on earth because of your family." Abram was 75 years old, but he did what God told him. He left for another land. He left with his wife Sarai and his brother's son Lot. They went with him. They took everything they had. Then they traveled to the land of Canaan. One day, Abram came to a big oak tree. It was at a place called Moreh. "I will give this land to your family," said God. So Abram piled up stones. He built an altar near the big tree. It was a place to worship God. He built it because God talked to him there. Then Abram went south toward the hills. He set up his tent. He built another altar and worshiped God there. But a time came when there was not enough food. So Abram traveled again. He went to the land of Egypt. Before they got to Egypt, Abram had a talk with Sarai. "You're very beautiful," he said. "The men of Egypt will see you. They may want you to be one of their wives, and then they will kill me. So tell them that you are my sister. Then I'll be safe." The men of Egypt did see Sarai. Some of them told the king how beautiful she was. So the king took Sarai to his palace. He was very nice to Abram, and that's because Sarai was at his palace. Abram got sheep and cows, donkeys, camels, and servants. But God made the king sick. God made all the people of the palace sick. The king called for Abram. "What did you do?" he asked. "Why didn't you tell me Sarai was your wife? Now, take your wife and go. I was going to make her my wife. So Abram left with Sarai and Lot. He took all the things he had gotten in Egypt. He was rich with animals and silver and gold. He traveled back to Bethel. That's where he set up his tent before. Then Abram worshiped God there. Lot chooses his land. Chapter 13 in Genesis. Lot was the son of Abram's brother, and he had been traveling with Abram. He had been living where Abram lived. Lot also had many sheep and cows and tents. There wasn't enough land for both Abram's animals and Lot's animals. Lot's servants took care of Lot's sheep and cows. Abram's servants took care of Abram's sheep and cows. But Lot's servants began to fuss and fight with Abram's servants. So Abram told Lot, "Let's not fuss and fight. Let's not allow our servants to fuss and fight. Don't we have all this land around us? Let's live in different places. You might want the land to the left of us. Then I'll choose the land to our right. Or choose the land to the right of us, and I'll live in the land to our left." So Lot looked around. He saw all the land around the Jordan River. It was good land. It had plenty of water. It was like a garden. So that's where Lot chose to live. He set up his tents near the city of Sodom. But people in that city were sinful. They did many sinful things. Abram went to live in Canaan. God told Abram, "Look around you. Look north and south. Look east and west. I'll give all this land to you and your family. It will be yours forever. Your family will be so big that it will be like dust. No one can count the dust. No one will be able to count the people in your family. Walk through the land. I give it to you." So Abram moved near the big oak trees at Hebron, and he set up his tents there, and he built an altar to God. And that's the end of our January 4th reading. So were your ears listening for something that Abram didn't quite do right? He asked his wife, Sarai, to lie because he was scared. Now, no matter how old you are, you could be 4, you could be 5, you could be 10, you could be 20, you could be 40, you could be 50. God tells us in the Bible that Abram was 75. And he was probably a little bit older by this time after he'd been traveling. So somewhere after 75 years old, he was scared. And sometimes when we're scared, we're tempted to lie, even though it's to think that we are going to protect ourselves. But what did God do? Was he capable of protecting Abram and Sarai? He sure was. And even though Abram lied, God made the people in the king's palace sick in order to protect Sarai from being taken as another man's wife. And the king didn't know, so he tried to make it right. And we can often be tempted, even if we're just scared, that we think something's going to happen. And that's where our faith comes into play. That we say we trust God, but yet we are scared in those individual situations that we come across in life, where we are tempted in that moment to lie or to do something to try to protect ourselves. Now, even though sometimes things that are perceived as bad happen to us, we will also learn later, like with Joseph and with other stories in the Bible, that he is with us all the time. And even what other people may mean for bad, God turns things to good. God makes everything good. He doesn't make bad things good. He takes things that we perceive as bad and he works them toward good. So even things that are situations where we may be scared, it's those situations where we can ask God to help us to trust in him and to see the good that he will make of it. And that even if something we perceive as being bad still happens, we can ask God to show us the good that he will make of it, because he will. I can tell you that from my personal experience, and that's why I'm so passionate about that topic and why I'm so passionate to bring that to you, is that it doesn't matter how bad we may think something is. God absolutely makes it for good. He uses it. And if you are frustrated or just want to see it, then ask God to open your eyes, because he will. I have at times said to God, God, show me the good that you will work into this, because I'm frustrated, whatever it happens to be. And God will honor your request. He will honor it. And he will absolutely show you, if you ask him to show you, the good that he is going to bring into this supposed bad situation, because he knows your heart wants to see it. And so that is very important to me to share that with you. So I'd like to encourage you in your walk today. Today, you may find that there is a situation where you are tempted to lie, or where you are scared about something. And if it's not today, it may be tomorrow. But keep in mind that that sneaky snake, he wants to trick us and tempt us into thinking that we need to protect ourselves. And it is God who is our protection. Because even though Abram lied, it was God ultimately who protected Sarai from her being taken as another man's wife. It was not Abram's lie that protected them. It was not Sarai's lie that protected them. It was God. So thank you very much for joining me today. And I hope that your walk with God is strengthening and growing every day. And I hope that you will look to him in your day when you are scared or upset or want to, or experience something that you feel is bad or not good. And I encourage you to ask him to show you the good that he will bring out of the situation, and to help you with the strength to trust in him, to put your faith into action. Have a great day, and I hope to see you again tomorrow on the edition of um, Reading the Bible in 7 minutes a day with our Day by Day Kids Bible. If you are watching via YouTube or via the TikTok channel, then I would ask that you please consider subscribing to the channel, as well as clicking like on the video, and to post a comment down below, either just letting me know that you watched it, or maybe something that you thought was particularly nice about the story today, or that you enjoyed about the story today. Have a great day.